These little suckers right here. Yes, these motherfuckers right here. Fuck 'em. We don't want to talk about them. It's getting boring as fuck. These motherfuckers right here. Yes, these motherfuckers right here. Fuck 'em. We don't want to talk about them. It's getting boring as fuck. These motherfuckers right here. Yes, these motherfuckers right here. Fuck 'em. We don't want to talk about them. It's getting boring as fuck.
Donkey balls are bouncing all around. Bounce up, bounce up. Balls, donkey balls. Balls, donkey balls are bouncing all around. Balls, donkey balls are bouncing all
Sniffing, you can smell them. Those donkey balls are yelling, and they're swinging to the beat of the loser's song. Never turn your back, 'cause those donkey balls are bouncing on your dreams. Suck 'em, suck 'em. Those donkey balls are bouncing on your chin again. What a silly, got to grin again and again. Never turn your back, 'cause those donkey balls are bouncing on your dreams. Suck 'em, suck 'em. Those donkey balls are bouncing on your chin again. What a sin, we gotta grin again and again.
He would be so scared to see me.
Everybody thinks we was doing this shit, doxing motherfuckers. Nah, they came at us first.
I got a fire raging in my front yard.
Oh, why did you set your front yard on fire? Are you drinking anything?
Slacking off the podcast. Fuck your city, dog balls. Because fuck authorities. Slacking off the podcast. Fuck your team, dog balls. Your columns torch authorities.
Slacking off the podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. What's up, Doug?
Happy
What's
birthday,
going on,
Doug.
guys?
That's right. Happy birthday from the whole Smacking Off World.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm north of 50, but don't ask me. I don't feel like doing the math. I do not pay attention to that shit. I don't
Age
even.
is just a number. It doesn't matter.
I'm like, I'm somewhere between 52 and
21
54,
and
man.
27.
There you go.
So let's do a check on everybody. Ed.
He's in the bathroom.
No Ed. Let's see. Oh.
What's
Jason.
up?
What's going on? All right. So everybody but Ed, Ed's asleep and he'll wake up soon.
I thought I heard you earlier during when you had the stream going. I thought I heard him earlier, but I could.
We
be wrong.
normally do. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just me. Okay.
No.
No, it may have been me because I didn't realize when I first joined the thing that I was unmuted, and I was trying to do the bass part of the harmony to Dead Man's Curve, and then I realized I was not muted and I hit mute.
Oh, I was rocking Metallica and Soundgarden on my Spotify while I was waiting.
Now here's the truth. Even if you're not muted. Okay, so Ed says he's waiting. Ed's in according. Well, let's see.
Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. We don't know.
No, I'm not saying I was jamming the Dead Man's Curve, Jason. I'm saying I was singing Dead Man's Curve, specifically the bass line.
Well, like I said, I couldn't hear you because my Metallica and Soundgarden was so loud.
Oh, that was just good. Good.
What's your
probably
state?
pretty bad.
So Ed probably needs to. Ed, let's see here. You should leave and come back in because I don't hear him.
You sure he's not
asleep? Now, is Sean with us tonight?
All right, so what's going on?
What's up, Mr. Divine?
I'm doing well. How are you, Dr. Balls?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I had a great weekend to celebrate Memorial Day with my friends. Hallelujah.
Good. Real good. Glad that
So we got
bad weather's finally stopped.
Well, it restarted for us, so I had good weather.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I had good weather long enough to do the Memorial Day run and then get home, and it's rained ever since.
Jeez, you guys
Thank
just
you.
can't. You guys can't stop getting rain.
I know. Well, good thing Well, they got an arc up there close to Cincinnati. If I can make it to it in time.
So
Yeah, can you
one
hear
second,
me?
Ed, can you hear us?
I have Adam Reed with
Yes.
me, who played
Okay,
basketball
so
at Creighton University from 1994 to 1997.
Awesome. Hallelujah. Nice to meet you, brother. What position did you play at Creighton?
Small forward.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's awesome.
Sean, do you remember?
Vaguely, that was what 11 through 13 when he played. So
Yeah, that's
vaguely,
your
but
that's your peak years, man.
yeah, I mean that's the old Missouri Valley Conference days.
Yep.
Sean, I guarantee you, I can remember shit from when I was 11 better than I can remember shit from 20 minutes ago.
Adam is also a big Michigan fan, so Sean is now officially conflicted.
Hail Blue.
Oh, that's disgusting. Someone that went to a fine Jesuit institution should, even though Creighton doesn't have football, should at least either be a Notre Dame or a Boston College fan, not a Michigan fan.
Well, I'm a little bit jaded because my daughter just committed to go play soccer in Michigan, so I'm definitely slanted.
Ed didn't tell me that. Ed was leading the witness.
Ed always he didn't want the truth to really come out.
See, well, of course he's going to root for his daughter who's playing at Michigan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So have you been partying with Ed?
We've just seen each other at the pool.
Whoa.
Okay, we're just going to say, like, we don't know Ed that well, so watch out.
You don't know me that well.
We don't Ed.
Okay,
We
you
don't
do know Ed that well, so watch out.
Right. Now, he hasn't mentioned the hot tub, has he? Is he like James Brown wants to do the hot tub?
Mm.
I'm teasing. So who was the coach of Creighton? So who was the coach of Creighton while you were there, brother?
I came in, I was recruited and redshirted under Rick Johnson, who was only there like 3 years. He was right after Tony Baroni. And then, so I redshirted with him, and then he got fired, and Coach Altman came in for my final 3 years.
Yeah, Coach Altman was a hell of a coach, and that was a tough conference, and Creighton went on a pretty good run. What was the biggest run y'all went on while you were there?
I think when I started, we were like 7-22, and then when I graduated, we ended up about 500, and then right after that, they went on their streak and started winning the conference and going to tournaments.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, we had Rodney.
Could have been a totally different thing, man. If this happened today, you may have transferred out.
It was actually, I still had 1 year of eligibility after I graduated, and I kind of before all this grad transfer and all that stuff, I ended up going to Alaska for grad school and playing ball up there.
Oh wow!
Hell yeah!
That's cool.
That's awesome.
That's like
so
the University of Alaska.
Shootout, so I played in the 20th anniversary of that, and got to play against like UCLA and Seton Hall, and it was all past champions. It was pretty awesome.
Hell yeah!
It's a shame that tournament's gone now. It was from the preseason tournaments. That was a great one.
Yeah.
Sean, don't you wish Alaska had a football team, Sean?
Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's cold in the winters, but in the summers,
if they had a football team, can you imagine having to travel to Alaska to play on the road?
It'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah, there's stories of, well-known basketball players like getting lost on dog sleds, and they were doing all these experiences. A good friend of mine would take him down to his lodge on the river, and and they'd host them. It was quite an event.
Hell yeah! That's awesome.
Let's take the show on the road to Alaska.
Let's do it, Nikki. I'm sure.
I'm still there. You guys are more than welcome anytime.
We are not in Alaska right now.
Well,
I can see that.
We should do
There is not a city. Is there a city in Alaska you can actually drive into?
I'm going to be driving it here in a couple of weeks. Again, I actually drove from Alaska to Oregon a couple of weeks ago to drop one of my kids off at school. And
So what's the capital of
No,
Alaska?
it's actually in
is
Juneau.
Anchorage?
It's on an
Or further
island.
away?
You cannot drive to the capital.
Okay, yeah, that's the one you can't drive into.
Yeah,
You got
we
to
keep
fly
all
in
our
or go in a
politicians
boat,
on an
right?
island.
Great
That's
idea.
smart. That's smart.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That makes them harder to tar and feather, though.
See,
Yeah,
we
it's
should
that-
take the show on the road. Like game day's not
Yeah.
going on the road anymore. They're going to be studio, so we should take over that market.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Are you
when
serious
did
about
this
that?
come about?
Oh my gosh! They announced it a few weeks ago.
I didn't
They
hear
were
that.
cutting back on money. I think they're going to do the first game will be Lee Corso's last game day, and they're going to do FSU, and then after that, it's all studio
Goodness.
because of money.
Like they don't make enough.
You know, I remember when it was like that. It didn't bother
It
me at all
didn't.
before I'd
Now
seen them go on the road.
it's
But
too much fun to watch them go to different places. I don't think it'll last. I don't think it lasts.
No,
so tell me this: is Nick still part
As
of the
of
crew?
right now, he is
Oh yeah.
until he becomes commissioner.
Okay.
Are they going to have the Washington State flag in the studio?
They have to. Have to. It's never missed
I heard that
one.
Pat McAfee was going to join that full time.
Hey, Nikki.
But didn't he get cut?
No.
Oh, that's just what I've heard. That he would replace Lee Corso, but I could be old news. They might have.
I
They might
hope
have cut him
so.
like the Post did.
I hope so. I love Pat.
I think Nick was hired to
Yeah, but
replace
wouldn't Nick
Corso. To be honest.
walk away if he took on the position of commissioner?
He might have to.
Yeah.
You would think he'd have to. I mean, he would definitely be. He'd be on the show all the time, but not as.
So
Hey,
they'd have to
Dickie,
keep Pat. Yeah.
can you do me a favor? Check and see if we're live on TikTok.
Yeah. Let me go inside. Give me a minute.
Okay. I'm trying to get this thing to work, guys. It's just been battling with me.
I'm trying to stay away from the TV because my husband's cussing at it because the hockey's on. So
Well,
Yeah.
I see some people are joining, so I think that we are live on TikTok.
So what is going on? Let's talk about what's going on in hockey right now.
Okay, so
Florida's on track.
I think Florida's on track.
Did you say
Florida's
hockey?
on track. Have you watched them?
Oh, the Florida Panthers. I thought you were talking about like the people in Miami.
Well, yeah, they are too.
Okay,
The whole
okay.
state of Florida is. Nothing
Just-
new.
Yeah, just for clarification, I'll say this. I don't think anybody's touching the Florida Panthers in this series.
No.
Like in that series with Toronto, once again got the bad luck, the
Now we're
draw,
talking hockey.
because that was a team I think that could have contended for a
Okay.
cup.
There,
And Florida, they got two on them at
Play
first.
travel
Florida
hockey.
just turned the switch on. It was absurd.
Jeez. DC area, Atlanta,
All right.
and Maine.
Sounds like a Johnny Cash
So
song.
this is our hockeyologist.
He's a
Hockeyology
goalie.
segment.
Oh wow.
And so now he's in a men's league in Denver.
Yeah, I watching Florida. I don't,
Okay.
as much as I want my Stars
I mean, if
to
you gotta
get
go, you
there,
gotta go.
I
Showed
don't
up.
think I want
Okay.
to even
Thank
consider
you.
playing
Thank you.
Florida.
Alrighty.
Anytime. I'll get you my number.
Okay. You bet. So
They're
Adam
nasty.
has to attend the game, so he's gone.
Everybody go Blue Jays. Go Blue Jays. Baseball.
Well played. Well played. Well played.
What are we excited about, guys? Are you talking about the little drum
Yeah,
thing?
Yeah.
that was
Special.
perfect timing on your part. Well done.
I thought it would be better than a laugh track. If I put a laugh track, that would have been very disrespectful. But we can give it a try.
Adam has left the show. He had to attend a gala tonight.
All right.
Well, damn it. He's from Alaska, and we were just getting
And
into
he
hockey.
Yeah.
likes hockey.
Well, hell,
So this is our hockeyology segment.
Were y'all
There you go.
watching the game last night when they actually put out a spoon and it looked like, I guess they were trying to pour honey in it, but it honestly looked like a cracked spoon?
goodness.
It 100% Florida's on crack. I don't want to play them. I don't think we
Crack
will,
stream.
but I don't want even want a chance.
No, you talking about a crack stream, Nikki. That would imply that they're only going to use small amounts of crack, right? You know, they didn't have a brandy sniffer. You
Uh-uh.
know, they didn't have a microwave going. You know, so they're small time crackheads. That's an even deeper
Well,
insult.
you can always
Yes.
tell. You can always tell. You can always tell if it's got to be burned on the
I don't
bottom,
know.
right?
James kept replaying it because I said it since the series started. Well, okay, the last series that they were on crack. They just are insane. And he kept rewinding it last night, laughing. He's like, "See, they are on fucking crack, and they're not ashamed to admit it. They're
So,
proud of it."
so is any of the two teams from the West even have a chance? Maybe Edmonton or Dallas?
Can you all hear me?
Man, that's crazy, guys.
Are you there?
You hear me, Nikki?
Yep. I don't know what's going on. I guess
I
we
think I
Yes,
just
faded
I.
out
talking
for a
about
minute.
crack.
Yeah, we lost everybody.
All right,
There
can I
I
get my
We got
am.
James.
laundry? I paid for it.
There we
There I
go.
am. All right.
$3.29.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, LeBron.
But to answer that, I don't think Dallas, Edmonton. I don't think anyone has a chance against Florida. To be honest,
I would
I think Edmonton has a chance.
I don't. I think they'll get destroyed.
I
mean,
Florida
do. I
looks
mean, you
intense.
get two of the best players in the league on Edmonton, and McDavid and Draisaitl.
I mean, as
I
good
understand that,
as Connor McDavid is, as good as he is, and that Edmonton team is good. Just the way that Florida's playing right now, it's going to be tough.
This is like the stock.
I just don't. I don't think the East. I mean, I think they've cruised through the playoffs because to me the East is kind of down this year.
Carolina's not
Oh,
terrible.
No, I mean, I don't think Carolina's terrible, but I don't think they're anything
I agree
to
with that.
write home about. You know, like
They're not terrible,
fair.
but I don't. I felt like they kind of, no pun intended, skated lightly into the spot.
yeah. I
They
mean,
didn't
played
have
an
anyone. Yeah.
okay. They played
Yeah.
an okay aging Washington
Mhm.
Capitals team to get
Yeah.
here.
And had a hard time.
And we
Yeah.
got
You
a
know.
couple, we got a couple of folks on TikTok. I'm going to monitor the chat and see if there's any questions or comments they want to throw out there, and I'll jump in.
I mean,
in regard to that.
the smart money would be on Florida, though. I mean, they're tearing it up, but you know they got to play the
watching
games
them,
for a reason, and Edmonton's a
do.
tough place to win at.
But watching them, they're 20 times, if not 100 times stronger than they were last season. This team skates very, very well together. It's scary.
They're very.
I'm
very
on an
good.
elevator.
No doubt.
As much as
It's
I
in the elevator.
I hate it. As much as I hate it that a hockey team from Florida is successful. I have
Ed,
to
you're on an elevator.
Sorry about that, David.
Jason,
I don't
what
know.
don't you like?
What's that now?
What don't you like?
I just like it pains me to see a hockey team from Florida be successful, but you got to give them props. They're good.
Well, I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen it before. We've seen Tampa Bay. I mean, it
And
happens.
I didn't like that either.
I know it happens, and it's not like they're from there. That's what people don't understand. It's not like they're Florida-grown hockey players.
And yes, well, this is also bitterness from the Nashville Predators going to the Stanley Cup Finals a couple of years ago and getting their backs busted by Sidney Crosby in the pins a couple of years ago. So yeah, maybe I'm a little bitter and a little jealous. Sue me.
But you guys can make it again. I feel like
Not the
Nashville
way,
is
not the
back
way
up.
after the free agency offseason that we had and still didn't make the playoffs. boy, I went from excited in the off season to oh fuck, here we are again.
Quit burning stuff. You're a pyro.
So,
Yeah.
Doug, if you're in Alabama, who is your hockey team?
Alabama has a club team.
They really do.
Florida's what? Hey, Florida, the Gators have won the club hockey team quite a few times. That's pretty awesome. Bama does pretty well, and
They're called the
And they do pretty well.
Frozen Tide.
That's a great name.
Yep, Frozen Tide.
Frozen Tide. I like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. They play up in Pelham. They play up in Pelham, which is pretty.
Is that a minor league team?
The Birmingham.
That's the club team.
Didn't the Birmingham Bulls play there for a while in the old ECA?
Hey, gang. I'm having intermittent technical issues, so I'm going to sign off.
Please stand by.
All right, Rick.
Okay. Well, we got a replacement for you already.
Okay. Good
Jeremy,
evening, guys.
what's going on?
Glad to be back on with you.
Hey.
Hell yeah. So, who do you got in the hockey playoffs, Jeremy?
You know, I haven't really had a chance to just sit down and look at it, but I think the Panthers are playing so well right now. From what I've seen, I think you got to go with them. You know, this is a chance for them to be in the Stanley Cup Finals for the third straight year. I think the last time that happened was in a string of like 82 to 85 with Edmonton Oilers, if I'm not mistaken.
You had the Islanders and then the Oilers.
Okay. But they had but you know, they're in some kind of rarefied air right now. I think they're playing good hockey.
Hell yeah.
Consensus right now that everybody is like, yeah, I don't think anybody's beating Florida.
I don't. And I don't want to say
I'm hopeful for Edmonton to beat them. I would love to see Connor McDavid get a ring along with Draisaitl.
Quick trivia. Last Canadian team to win a hockey Stanley Cup.
Oh, that's easy. That's the Montreal Canadiens.
What year?
Oh, that was Patrick Roy, and I think was that 93?
You would be correct, and they beat Wayne Gretzky's Los Angeles Kings to win that cup.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's been that long since the Canadian team has won the cup?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a cake song, you know. Long ago, somebody left with the cup. I don't know if you ever heard it.
I have. It kind of ties into the next year you had Mark Messier and the New York Rangers breaking their long drought in '94.
I remember that.
To win the cup, yeah. So those two, that's why those, and then like the end of the decade was like New Jersey Devils and Detroit Red Wings.
The New Jersey Devils won it in '95 when it was rumored that they could have been possibly moving to Nashville around that time, and they went on the run to win the Stanley Cup with Marty Brodeur as their goalie.
Yeah, and I think Claude Lemieux was on that team.
Yep, Scott Stevens was on that team too, I believe.
Yeah. No, I feel you though as a Predator fan with like the Blackhawks have, since the dynasty died, have been just dreadful.
Well, the Predators, they had a nice divisional rivalry with the Detroit Red Wings for the longest time, and then the Red Wings got moved to the East, so the rivalry kind of got ignited with the Chicago Blackhawks within the division.
I remember because Nashville was starting to ask, if you were purchasing tickets, what your zip code was, because they didn't want Chicagoans coming down to Nashville buying those tickets.
And then I got to see Connor Bedard get drafted by the Blackhawks live and in person in Nashville.
Yeah, but don't feel. But he hasn't. I mean, we didn't put anything around him, so he's. It's nice. He's a great player, but the rest of the team kind of stinks.
Well, we were so excited to see him.
What's that?
We were so excited to see him.
I met Chris Chelios' sister at his chili bar in Chicago, but I had no idea until I had already.
Chili, yeah.
Yeah. And she looked like, I swear she looked like Deanna Troy off of Star Trek. And I didn't know that was his sister. And I talked to her at the bar, and I was sitting there with my best friend, who's like my brother. We was working on the road doing phone work. installing some switching equipment. Anyway, make a long story short, I talked to her for 4 or 5 hours, and she gave my number, and I called her, and I hung out with her again and spent a little time with her. Now, I'm not saying I've done anything with Chris Chelios' sister, because he's one bad MFer, and I don't want him coming after me, right?
Purely platonic relationship.
Yeah, so I just got to meet. I met her, right, and spent a little time with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Steve
No,
played
he
some
was
minor league hockey
Chelios
near where I
was just
grew up in Huntsville.
Right. Say that one more time, Jeremy.
I said Chris's brother Steve Chelios. He played for the minor league. He played for the Huntsville Channel Cats of the of the
You're
Southern
right.
Hockey League.
Oh, right to my heart, right there. Yes.
Didn't they turn to the Havoc?
Well, they're the Havoc. They were the
Now?
Havoc. It was a completely different franchise from that standpoint. But a good friend of mine, Chris George, played for the Channel Cats as well. He's married to a former WHNT news anchor. Up
Yeah.
there. Good friend of mine. We had him on as a guest for our hockey playoff talk when I was doing radio in Huntsville. But kudos. And while we're on Huntsville, real quick, let me send some flowers to Huntsville because people accuse me of being a hater of that town. Kudos to the Huntsville Havoc for like their longevity because they've been around 20 years and where like hockey teams were just coming and going around that time. But the longevity of that, even though it's a minor league or independent franchise, kudos to them for their longevity in the Rocket City.
What league are they in now?
Southern Professional Hockey League.
They are.
Isn't there a
Oh,
rival
yeah.
like the Knoxville Ice Bears or Polar Bears or something?
Yeah, Knoxville Ice Bears are there.
Ice Bears, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
No,
The
if
Thorough
anyone
Blade.
hasn't been to minor league hockey, go. It's very affordable
It's
and
the
it's
best.
and it's really exciting. Yeah.
It's so much. Oh, that's the best.
And the best part's the fights.
Yeah.
They
You get
better fight in
You
that
get more fights in minor league hockey than you do in the professional.
Oh,
Yep.
Wow.
I think it was Rodney Dangerfield who said he went to a hockey game and a boxing
Yeah.
match.
Now, back in the day, Marty McSorley and Stu Grissom would go at it, and that was great. But they won't allow that anymore in the NHL.
Yeah, the NHL kind of jumps in real quick once, to prevent it from getting, they don't want to see blood on the ice, so to speak. So they try to break it up real quick these days.
But shout out.
Hold on, I blew that one. I blew that one, Sean. He said what did he say? He said he went to a boxing match and a hockey game.
Oh, yeah.
We love Rodney. Rest in peace.
And shout out to all the Ice Guardians out there, old school Ice Guardian.
The
enforcer.
We have the Barracuda out here, and I think I paid $7 for the ticket, and then slice of pizza and a soda. So got to see minor league hockey and have a bite and a drink for a total of $12. You can't beat that.
Oh yeah, the Reggie.
I was just you guys and ask you guys a question. I don't know if you talked about it yet or not about Greg Sankey and saying the SEC will be essentially leaving the NCAA in what was it 28-29 that was announced today. We kind of had a chance to talk about that in a chat earlier, and I made a statement. I said this may not be a great thing because it may be almost the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. I mean, you may have touched on it before, but what are you guys thinking about this?
I like what you just said there in regards to like it's almost kind of like you're thinking the grass is going to be greener on the other side when maybe in reality that it won't. Here's my take on all of it because we've already saw that they're going to tweak a few things with the 12 team to where now even at large bids can get automatic buys, which really I think that Texas and Ohio State should have got one over Arizona State and Boise State, but we've had that conversation God knows how many times. But moving to 16 is going to be inevitable. I don't like it, but it's almost inevitable. And I've talked about this on here. The proposal for the 4 automatic bids for the SEC and the Big Ten, I don't like it. I think it's fascism, but we can get deep into that later. But what Jeremy was talking about, the SEC leaving the NCAA in 2029. You know what I'd say? You've been wanting to leave for a while. Just fucking go.
Yeah.
Go. Just go. You want to leave so bad, just take your ball and go home. You want to do whatever the hell you want, take your ball and go home and stop bitching. I'm at that point now.
Agreed. And we talk. This is, I mean, this is no doubt a football move. I mean, that's the whole reason for it. It's all about football, and that's fine. But what is this going to mean for things like March Madness and the College World Series? That's the biggest question I have. Is, you have football, which the NCAA has been pretty much a non-existent factor in for years, except for trying to smack down programs, get out of line, and then getting sued and getting smacked down by the courts. But they're still a major part of the postseasons in basketball, baseball, softball, all those. What's going to happen there?
And football at the level below FBS.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too, I'm going to throw another little quip in here too. I hate the whole marketing ploy of it just means more, which is why I make fun of it so often. But the SEC leaving to go and do their own thing, which really they're in a position to do it because they have the TV contract with ESPN, so the money's going to keep flowing through. Like the Big Ten, maybe not in the same position as them, but they have CBS, they have Fox Sports, they have Peacock, NBC Universal, so they could go and split on their own if they wanted to. It may not be as lucrative as what.
I honestly believe that's in the works because I don't think the SEC would have done it unless the Big Ten's already said that they're.
And at this point, you've already pretty much made it that you want to go, so just go. Like the AC, will the ACC and Big 12 lose sleep? Probably not, because you know what? They're probably going to finally go. Finally, we don't have, it just means more bitching over here with the SEC. And then with the Big Ten about we deserve four playoff spots because we make the most money. Screw you. Go ahead and go. Is it going to stop? Is it going to stop?
Jason, to your point, Jason, I think the influence is Texas. Texas treated their conference that way, the Big 12, and now I believe they've got more influence in the SEC than I thought they had, and probably more than they deserve. And these are the kind of antics Texas did to the Big 12, and it seems as if they've influenced the SEC to act the same way.
And here's another great thing about it. So all the SEC fanboys out there that will root for their rival if they're playing another conference, which I think is just gross. You will finally have your SEC wet dream of an all SEC playoff to determine a national championship, which you will claim. This is the fanboys' wet dream over here, and I'm at the point now where I say, go ahead and go, and don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Well, I think we'll.
Let me tell you, it ain't going down like that, Jason. No, it's not going down like that because the big's going to leave too, and they're going to form something,
more
and
follow.
I think it'll end up the same as it is now,
what
but
do we have
it's
right
just
now
going to be
in the
structured a
Big
little
Ten?
different.
Like 18 teams? Is that where we're at now with them?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 16 in the SEC. So, I mean, I could see a future where basically you have the SEC and Big Ten doing their own thing and playing conference games, some interconference games, and kind of having their own national championship, whatever you want to call it. The problem with that is if they don't add some of these other programs, a few more, what's going to happen to games like Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Clemson, some of these rivalries. And that's the main issue I have. I'm not, I try not to be a get off my lawn type of guy because, there's got to be some progress as the years goes on. But we're seeing so much that what we love about college football being sacrificed because these conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC want to do their own thing. They think they're in this rarefied air where they're better than everybody else. And it's just wrecking this game.
I agree with you.
You have no regional flavor
anymore.
Now, again, like Jeremy said, I'm going to allow me to play the role of get off my lawn guy as well. Like, I understand it being in the profession that I'm in. I understand business. I understand why it's done. Do I like that it's being done? No. Like, I think the conferences now are way too freaking big, and they painted themselves in the corner when it comes to determining who's going to play in the conference championship. Again, it comes down to that 10-cent brains and $1,000 suits are looking for the money now, and they don't think about the long-term repercussions going forward. But here's the problem: we all enable it.
Yes.
Because we're not gonna stop watching. Now, let's just, if we're being truly honest, we can sit here and go, "Oh, college football ain't the same as what it used to be. I don't think I'm gonna watch anymore." Bullshit. We're still gonna watch.
I talked about this in a video I made in my Southern Sports Focus group a couple of weeks ago, and it was more in line with the Texas Ohio State game and the big noon and all that people complain about every freaking week. And it's like what you just said. You know, we as fans, we enable this stuff. We can gripe about it all we want to. We can scream about it all we want to. These commissioners, university presidents, all that, they're going to look at us screaming, saying, "We still got your money, so who cares?"
Yep.
I agree
I
with
mean,
you.
as long as the tickets are being bought and the games are being watched, this is going to continue. And, you know, as Jason just said, you know, BS, no one's ever going to do this. But the only way it's going to change if fans say, "I'm keeping my money because I don't like what's going on." That is the only way that this stuff is not going to keep going on.
Instead of sitting by your TV and your patio and your fire pit on a Saturday, it would be like me trading that to go to Station Camp Creek that's right across from my house, throwing a fishing pole or throwing a fishing line into the water and just sitting there and just watching it like watching paint dry. But is that going to happen with me? No, it's not. But get back again.
I think for myself personally, if the Big Ten and the SEC break away, it'll be very easy for me to just say, you know, I've it's been years and years of you know destroying a once really great product in the you know chase for money, and there's a lot of reasons for the chase for money. It's expensive to run these programs, and it's keeping up with the Joneses, the Taj Mahal of weight rooms and training facilities and this, that, and the other thing. But luckily for me, and it's probably different. It's I'm not an SEC person. I'm not from the South, but like I have Sundays, I have the NFL, and I'm more than happy of picking a day on the weekend to watch football. And if the Big Ten and the SEC are going to do their own thing, and then you have the ACC, Big 12, and everybody else doing it, I'm okay with missing Saturdays. It's gotten to the point where this in the pricing of everything, as Dr. Balls mentioned on last week's show, he can't even watch his own state team without subscribing to 8 different packages or programs or channels. Forget it. Just forget it. It's gotten out of hand, and if this ends up being the way it is, I get my Saturdays back, and I'm okay with that.
You're right. You're right, Sean. The consumer is the only one that can change this.
With the NFL, I don't have to have 8 different things. I have YouTube TV. I get all the NFL games on a Sunday and Red Zone, and
Red Zone, baby.
And
I really don't think
I
this
don't
is going to
either,
change
and
the way.
I think
that
I'm
this is done.
completely
I think
opposite
that
of everyone else right now. I think that they follow. I
No, not
think
me.
that the
I
other
agree with you.
conferences follow because everyone's sick of the damn NCAA. We have been saying it for at least 6 years of this show. Fuck the NCAA and the bullshit they pull. We watch it.
this is probably the first move
Yes.
to form some other
I've said
alliance.
it as much as I can't stand Tennessee.
And that's what I think.
The
That's
hell
what I
they've
think is
gone
coming.
through the last few years, not just with football, but also baseball players not being able to play. They have to form lawsuits to get them on the field. I think every other league ends up following.
Well, also,
then you're forgetting the fact that we're still calling it college football. They should really just rename it minor league football with affiliated colleges.
Well, and the one thing too that Nikki pointed out is, right? I think you're right. Fuck the NCAA to say that, because we're kind of spurring away from them because number one, they have no power, And to go back to conversations that we were having earlier with the whole Nico Iamaleava saga with transferring and the NIL and that landscape and the NCAA's investigation into that got slapped down by the Supreme Court, where the NCAA just held their hands up and just said, "The hell with this, we're tired of getting sued," because they have no power. Which is that power going to come from this college football commission that President Trump's trying to put together? And
No way.
we don't know the status of it anymore. It's just kind of, just went away. Or is Congress ever going to get involved when they're not out, throwing haymakers and hand jobs at each other and actually getting shit done? So at this point now, the SEC, the Big Ten, and my pessimism of getting this, the guardrail into all of this, like eventually you're going to see the SEC, the Big Ten, just pull away because they can. The Big Ten can pull away because they can. Can the Big 12 do it? Probably not. They don't have the TV contracts of what the other two conferences have. Same with the ACC, maybe. They have much larger markets. But
this sets them up.
So here's the deal, though. Even if the Big and the SEC both pull away, the NCAA teams, if they're still NCAA, there's going to be a way for those teams to play. I guarantee you. It's not going to happen to where the SEC and the Big Ten don't play anybody but SEC and Big Ten.
Every other conference has had enough. It's not just the SEC and Big Ten. Every conference has had enough, and it's taking one conference to step forward and say, we're fucking done.
Yeah, I'd say if you're the other conferences, play each other. Go play with yourselves. The 34 programs that make up the two right now, barring invitations. I know, Clemson is hoping they get an invitation as well as Florida State. But, enjoy yourselves.
And there's another
table
issue.
for two.
How many of these teams, like your Florida States and Clemson's, they see the bigger money, they see the TV contracts. It's all about the money. It's all about the notoriety. There's going to be a handful of teams at least every year that's going to be looking to jump ship. I mean, that's going to happen.
The only thing that would make this great would be if they actually impose relegation, as Jason and I talked about in the past.
A man can dream. Yes, a man can dream.
Like I know Vanderbilt had a good year last year, but normally Vanderbilt's pretty bad. If Vanderbilt goes 1-11, they get relegated, and Boise State gets elevated, or something like that. If there's relegation, then I might be intrigued.
Well, I have a question. Do you think this also has anything to do with Tennessee and Vandy, the new NIL law in Texas or in Tennessee? If they don't comply with the NCAA, they can actually be booted from the SEC.
For following their own law.
I highly doubt I think original SEC members get booted. I just don't see that happening.
I don't either, but they're saying because they don't comply with regulations.
I mean, who's saying that? I mean,
it's coming from higher up. Like, it's not even SEC. It's not NCAA. It's like going federal.
Yeah, again, it goes down to Tennessee following their own law that they made on the book years ago. So, listen, I wish that I was a lawyer that was involved in college athletics, because my house would be bigger than Nellie's abandoned mansion in St. Louis right now if I was one of those people. It would be like
you could have 3 Gracelands, Jason.
Like the Nickelback song, a bathroom that I can play baseball in. That's what I would. Because billable hours are just absurd in college athletics right now.
Yeah, it's just we all have, I'm assuming, and we all know what you do when you assume, but the thing that I worry about on this is both Jeremy and Jay, it's purely football driven. We know that, and football is the big elephant in the room. But I worry about some of us like non-revenue generating sports, and I want I'd hate to see us losing those sports because of this, just simply because of football.
Football killed the Big East. Basketball, let's just put that out there.
It
Hey, the
did.
Big East is coming
One of
back.
my favorite, one of my
Yeah,
favorite
but
conferences.
video killed the radio
My
star
favorite
too.
conference watching as a kid, and football killed it.
I mean,
And
we would gladly accept Syracuse back, but that's about it. I don't think there's anybody else we would want back because I think we got I know Pitt used to be part of the Big East, but yeah, you could lose me with Pitt.
we had Pitt, Miami, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, you could lose me with the football schools in the Big East, but like Syracuse, that's the one I miss. Because Georgetown's still there. UConn, we took them back because they don't really play. I mean, they play football, but they don't really play football.
Don't forget the Johnnies. Don't forget the Johnnies.
Johnnies are coming back because of NIL. If they didn't have NIL and Rick Pitino, they'd probably still be moribund. But I mean, the Big East is still playing pretty good basketball, all things considered. I'd like them to add some purely basketball programs to get to. We're at 11 member schools. I'd like to get to 14, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's a few programs that would fit the bill, I think, but it's again going back to what Fox offers the Big East as far as television deals.
Hell yeah. Now, what I think is going to happen is there is going to be a college football czar, and there will also be a committee, and there'll be some kind of legislation to empower the committee, and therefore the NCAA will be unnecessary. I think that's the end game.
Did you
I think
guys
that's all
see
the
what
SEC
the
wants.
Florida AD said about committees and choosing the postseason today?
What that athletic directors have no business in the college football playoff committee?
Pretty much. I mean, he said the committee is not the best way to do it,
And
he
I
was
would
on the
agree
committee.
with you.
He was on the committee for a few years. And I don't know how else you could do it. I mean, maybe use the old computer formula. I don't know, but
we can't get Chat GPT to give us the answer.
We've got to find a better way to do this.
I have a solution, people. Why don't you? And listen, I know that the media gets a lot of crap, especially in sports media. But guys like Stuart Mandel, guys like Andy Staples, even Josh Pate, who we happen to be coworkers within the same company. There are enough dedicated people that would be more than happy to be on a committee to analyze all of the data, and there would be no bias. Well, maybe from some of them, maybe, but they would at least analyze the data, and they would give you an objective appeal that would be reasonable rather than this constant conflict of, remember in the BCS when they had the coaches poll vote and Nick Saban was getting a vote and Mike Gundy didn't in 2011. That stirred up a lot of controversy. So again, it comes down to this. And even at one point, what was it in the basketball committee that the North Carolina AD, even though he had to step out, but he was still a part of the selection committee. Like, I agree. There's a better way to do it. And I'm sitting here going, we're right here. We can do it. We watch every freaking game like we're crackheads. We
minus the beat writers who are at a location.
Like team
and just the total complete idiots like Colin Cowherd. Leave him out. But
now to your point about Mandel had a great article today in the Athletic at the end of they're talking about this haggling over the future of the playoff. And he goes, all right, well, they've zoomed past the 14 teams, so we know we're going to 16. Here's the crazy idea. You take the top 16 teams, and one plays 16, and two plays 15, and, bracket style, and there you go.
And we just want to overcomplicate everything.
If there's eight SEC teams in that top 16, then all 8 of them get in.
We have. I mean, It's not that hard.
No.
And because of agendas and money, and well, we're part of this, so we need this. The entitlement, it screws everything up, and it doesn't have to be that way.
The
16
Southern
teams, like you said, 1 to 16, have the home games for the first couple rounds if you want to, whatever. I don't care. But just keep it simple and let fans enjoy the game.
Yes, and
Yeah, I do the first couple rounds on campus. I think that was proven last year that on-campus playoff games are very exciting for those institutions hosting them. And then, to me, the other thing that I would make the national championship game is going to be at the Rose Bowl. There's not a better venue and scene, and when the sun is setting on the San Gabriels. It might not be on the 1st of January anymore, but maybe it's the 5th, and have the national championship game on a freaking Saturday like the whole season is.
Yeah.
And to go back to what Jeremy said earlier about just simplifying things. I mean, I know what a concept. You're talking like a madman, Jeremy. You need to hold it back a little bit. But I agree with you. Just like what they did just recently of how they're kind of tweaking what's the 12-team playoff going to be now. Yes, keep the conference championship games with some meaning, and let them have their automatic buys. But yes, we don't have to give a bye to every conference champion.
Nope.
Because Ohio State and Texas, you can make the argument that they deserve the first round bye and probably should have got it because they were one of the top teams in the country. So, yeah, just make it linear. Conference champs, seed them the way that they are. Bam. You have your solution there, and it could have made some very intriguing on-campus games for that first round that's coming up. Now,
the one caveat that I would add, because again, I'm an NFL guy, and to me it works great in the NFL playoffs, is the reseeding after the first round. So if they're the lowest seed should play the highest seed remaining.
Heck yes.
Don't get so locked into a bracket where there's an upset in the first round. And that ruins the whole bracket, so to speak. Because I'll tell you, it's kind of shitty when you go unbeaten as Oregon. You get a bye, and your first opponent is Ohio State.
All right, my buddy.
Thanks for that.
My buddy Aaron just chimed in on TikTok. Longtime caller, first time listener. Make the playoff 68 teams. Remove helmets. Add weapons. You know what? I'm not against that, actually. It would be more now medical bills will probably be higher for the
only if the coaches are fair game on the sidelines.
Lane Kiffin better come with body armor then.
Exactly.
It's going to turn into the Ron Swanson, the Channel 6 news team against all the other news teams.
The Ron Burgundy news channel.
Ron Burgundy, yeah. Ron Burgundy and the Channel 8 news team against all those other news teams.
And they got the weapons in the park and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
I like it. It's exciting and new.
But what Jeremy said is absolutely right. Let's like the old action. Keep it simple, stupid. 1 through 16. If that's 12 SEC teams, then so be it.
Or 2, whatever. I mean,
or 2, exactly, whatever. But 1 through 16, and this cannot be this complicated. Other than like we were saying, this little entity. Well, I got to get 2, and I got to get 1, and I got to get forget it.
And
earn your way into it if you want to be there.
And it's because they want the money. They want it. And again, I said it before. You can scream about it all you want to as a fan. You can complain more about it than a Georgia fan complains when Alabama beats them and Georgia fans blame the refs.
Well,
I mean, it can be that. It can be that bad, but it's not going to change until the money stops flowing.
Yep.
And eventually that'll happen if you make it all about the money until you ruin the product.
Right.
It'll be like how baseball ran those regional sports networks into the ground.
Yeah.
But again, the question is, when is it going to get to that point? Because you would have thought with the conference realignment, it might be getting closer. It hasn't. NIL transfer portal, it really hasn't. Like the momentum has not stopped. So, to Jeremy's point, which eventually you can do so much to ruin the product, but the question is, when is that point, and what is that point?
To
And
me, my prediction for that is when most of the games that you want to watch, you have to pay an extra like right now you at least get 3 or 4 games for free over CBS, NBC, Fox. Once you have to pay for everything, I think you'll see change.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Because right now you at least get 4 or 5 games for free. You get your CBS game, your Fox game, your NBC game, and usually 2 on ABC.
ding, right there. That timed out perfect. And another comment on TikTok: the money won't stop flowing freely because Georgia's afraid of Kennesaw State. Facts. Hey, those owls can come out of nowhere.
Kennesaw
Those
State.
owls can come out of nowhere. As a matter of fact, one of them tried to attack my old SUV driving home at 2 in the morning one time. They don't mess around.
Owls are feisty.
Yeah, owls are a bitch.
Don't mess with an owl.
They probably thought my brown SUV was a big ass rat and tried to attack it, and then realized. And then when they got close,
Very similar to cat.
Hey,
It's like
owls are dangerous.
so like a cat. A
Owls
cat
are
is
very
like an
dangerous.
owl
You
without
want proof?
wings.
Bill Cosby went to temple.
Yeah.
Wow. Doug, where's the laugh track? Come on.
Okay. Let
might
me
deserve a
pull it
boo.
up. Okay, wait. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
okay, you guys just alerted the TikTok security team. Mr. Number 532 has just joined, so we may be off of TikTok here in a minute. So keep the Bill Cosby jokes to a minimum, duh.
Yeah.
Goodness.
What? TikTok don't like Bill Cosby?
I guess not. I don't know. They just popped up like, oh, all of a sudden.
God damn it!
We're trying.
God damn it! We would blame it on Ed, but he's not here.
He's back busy building his time machine again. Yeah.
Who, Ed?
No, Ed
Or
is
Bill?
building his time machine.
Bill would like to.
He's having
So
a
where's
hot
he get the
tub time.
plutonium from? Or do I want to know?
What's that now?
I said, where's he getting the plutonium from, or do I want to know?
I don't think we ask questions like that.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Does he have security
Uh,
clearance?
From the Libyans.
Those type questions stay in the chat and only the chat.
Good to know.
That was one of the best moments in movie history. Is Doc explaining to Marty how he got the plutonium
The
from
Libyans, right?
the Libyans, and he built him a bomb out of spare pin bomb machine parts.
Man, we went way off track, and I only blame myself.
really
for that.
did.
Welcome to Smacking Off.
No, that's not on track. That's completely on track.
So getting back to the lesson at hand, we did say we wanted to talk conclusion of baseball conference tournaments, and then the field was released yesterday. So Nikki, I think, wanted to share that discussion.
Heck yeah. Florida made it. No one gave us a shot, and you never count us out. We're headed to Conway.
You know, they
Conway,
didn't-
South Carolina.
they did Coastal Carolina no favors
Yep.
with that bracket.
No. Let's see.
Little known fact. That's where
Oh, really?
Conway
Wow.
Twitty got his name from.
And a good
Conway, South
and
Carolina,
a
and
good pair of
Twitty,
tight
Texas.
jeans to go with it.
Now, unless they have moved
it.
they have moved that fence back in Coastal Carolina, I expect a home run derby in that regional. Because
Yes.
there was one year that Alabama, I think, had to go to Conway, and Coastal just rocked home run after home run after home run, and wound up beating a very good Alabama team that year. And I remember when it was Johnny Ballpark Franks who was the host on the and he sat there for the first 15 minutes of the show complaining about how short the field was at Coastal Carolina. And I was like, well, I mean, you got to play where you got to play. And Coastal, I mean, I could hit a home run out of Coastal probably. And I was a line drive hitter. But yeah, that one. But Coastal, I will say this: Coastal, well, all the SEC teams I think are capable of the College World Series. But Coastal Carolina is going to be my team to root for as my underdog pick. Sorry, Nikki.
No, it's okay. Yeah, just this
Yeah, we're gonna
time.
let it
Well, we
slide.
got A&M that started the season #1.
Du- Dustin
They got
Johnson would
the
thank you
next
for your
one.
Coastal Carolina support.
Well, also, the best man at my wedding is also a Coastal grad. So
That's
Very
okay.
nice.
Tommy's gonna have some fun with this one again.
Have you guys seen the meme of like the guy texting his friend regarding Texas A&M? He's texting his friend. He says, "Hey, are you going to be at dinner or whatever?" And he flashes up the Texas A&M logo. And he's like, "What does that mean? It means I'm not showing up."
Yep. First time since '91.
Oh.
Now, I mean, I give
Not
I
making
give the
it.
committee a lot of credit for if you look at it, they tried to keep teams in somewhat close to their, where their fans could travel to these games. Um, you know,
They've been pretty good about that the last at least 4 or 5 years.
I mean, like you look at the Vanderbilt Nashville regional. It's Louisville, Vanderbilt, Eastern Tennessee State, and Wright State. That's a manageable trip for all of those institutions. And that
I will say this. I think overall, of course, no committee is perfect, but I think overall, the past several years, the committee that has done the best with selecting teams and the seedings, everything has been the baseball selection committee.
Absolutely,
Yes.
I agree with that. Albeit -1, and I know Dr. Balls is quite happy. He's clicking his heels. Somehow the Kentucky Wildcats at 29-24 got into the tournament.
Unbelievable. I mean,
Now he gets to deal with Pastor Dan.
The wailing and gnashing of teeth is loud in Troy, Alabama.
Man,
because Troy probably should have got that slot, Pop.
well, I mean, I
Fuck them
didn't
Trojans.
pick for him, but yay. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But they'll probably get out of the Karma's a bad motherfucker, and they'll probably run them straight out of the tournament, right?
That's an exciting regional. I mean, it's
It
you
is.
guys. It's West Virginia, Clemson, and then South Carolina upstate.
Yeah, that's interesting division. Now, Clemson has a history of most sports other than basketball beating Kentucky, so that's probably what will happen. But I'd love to see West Virginia and Kentucky match up in baseball. I find that very interesting.
will they call that the moonshine matchup?
What?
Would they call that the moonshine matchup?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
If not, they should.
Moonshine Showdown.
Are they taking the SEC or the field when it comes to the teams that the team that comes from winning the national championship?
That'll win the national championship?
Are we talking? Is it going to be a team from the SEC or the field?
I would say it's the SEC, but
that would be a heck of a value bet to go with the field because again, the SEC has dominated college baseball for. I mean, I've lost track.
Yeah,
within the at least the last decade, and at one point it was softball too. So
the only team I'm really impressed, the two teams I'm really impressed with outside of the SEC are Oregon and Oregon State.
Arizona's
Arizona. I would figured they would have won the regular season championship, and they didn't. West Virginia did.
and then they get stuck with Oregon.
Yeah, and they got to go up. Yeah, they got to go through.
I think one team, and I haven't had a chance to look at the regional yet, but I think one team that could be dangerous might be North Carolina because they're playing some good ball right now.
They've got a really They're Holy Cross, Oklahoma, and Nebraska.
If they don't get out of that region, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oklahoma-
Nebraska, give them credit for going on a miracle run in the Big Ten tournament to make the tournament, but
And Oklahoma is like one of those hit and miss teams. When they're hitting, they're on fire.
Now,
well, guys, I'm fixing to run.
Well, I was going to say, if North Carolina does not get out of that regional, will they blame Jordan Hudson?
They already did.
All right. Let's ponder that one. Let's
right.
ponder that till next week, guys.
Great show, everyone. Take care.
Smacking off the podcast. Fuck your city, your boss. Because sports authorities.
Thank you for supporting Smacking Off the Podcast. Make sure to stream in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for an all-new live cast.